Hey everybody, Pepper here, and today we're going to be talking about books and answering questions that you guys have asked. So let's get to it. Hey everybody, I am so glad to get to be with you guys today. It has been a busy couple of weeks, so I am behind on getting the video out, but I'm so glad to get to talk with you. I just last week went to the American Christian Fiction Writers Conference that was held in St. Louis, along with its reader conference, which is called StoryFest, and had such a great time getting to meet with readers, getting to meet with other authors, getting to share in the whole world of story. I think that's how we all connect anyway, right? We all love stories, and boy, do I have some books to share. I have too many books. Not too many books. You can't have too many books, but when you're moving, you can. It makes you feel like you do. But I have recently gotten several books to put on my TBR list that continues to grow beyond what I will ever be able to read in my lifetime. And I just wanted to share them with you and see if you guys have read them yet. But before I go too far into this, I finished reading One Kiss Alone, which I told you guys, look, I used my airplane tickets as my bookmark. What do you use as bookmarks, by the way? Are you a very good bookmark user? Because I'm not consistent with that. One Kiss Alone was such fun. I cannot wait to see what you guys thought of it. Some of you have already shared how much you liked it. This is by Nicole Vann. It's the third book in the series of the Penleaf Thistle Muir series. And the hero is just simply adorable. He's adorable. I love him to pieces. So a little bit about it. There's Lady Allegra, who is your heroine, who's sassy and funny and smart and has this deep sense of longing, which she misplaces her passion sometimes into the wrong direction. And that's where you get to see her kind of grow. And then there's Ethan, who is the hero, who happens to be a poet, a highly acclaimed poet. And so he's a charmer. He is such a charmer, but that's only superficial. I mean, he's charming all the way deep to his heart, but he puts on a facade of being a charmer, and down deep, he's a very sensitive, caring, loyal, passionate person. I guess to be a poet, I guess you are pretty passionate anyway, but talk about passion. It's a clean read, y'all. But boy, does Nicole Vann know where to put her romantic tension to make it spicy enough, but not too spicy. Oh. There is more than one kiss. So there's not just one kiss alone, but there's a point to the title that I won't tell you. So if you want to learn more about this book, you can read it. I would love to know what you guys thought of this. And here's my question. Sometimes I read characters, and I'm gonna talk about Allegra, Allie, just a minute. Reckless heroines. Sometimes she's reckless, and that can kind of get on my nerves a little bit. It didn't badly get on my nerves, and everybody has their likes and their dislikes in heroes and heroines. I know there are people who don't like mine, but I really like Allie, and I love what Nicole did with her character arc. I love it. It was very believable. It's very sweet and fun and funny. There's a whole fishing scene. If you guys have read One Kiss Alone, there are some things in it when I was reading it that made me laugh because it made me think of Loyally Luke that's coming out in May. And there's a fishing scene in it, but it doesn't turn out quite as humorous as Nicole's fishing scene in this book, which I really liked that scene. It was fun, very sweet, and very nice. Anyway, but sometimes Allie will make a decision, and it's very impulsive and feels reckless because she's trying to act out within the bounds of her world where she can act out. And she's had this somewhat hard history and is kind of pushing against being placed in a cage, which any of us would do. But sometimes she gets a little reckless, especially. But what's great about what Nicole Van did is that you start understanding why she makes those choices. And she really is trying to push boundaries to make sure someone will catch her if she falls. That's what I was getting from that. You know, a lot of times I work in the mental health field in speech pathology, and a lot of times we meet kids who have trauma history, and they appear to be really trying to break all the rules. And the reason why they're doing that is to build safety. They want to know that no one will let them go too far, that they won't be stopped and cared for. They won't be stopped from hurting themselves. They won't be stopped from being alone. Those sorts of things. And Allie's personality kind of made me think of that. So, which is a wonderful way to create that character and make her deeper. And I don't know if Nicole had that in mind, but it very much made me think of those sorts of individuals that I see who are pushing against all the boundaries in hopes that someone will be loving enough, brave enough, strong enough to catch them if they fall, and to also loving enough to put up a boundary and say, no, I won't let you go this far. And I think we get some of that with her brother, Kendall, his Duke of Kendall. We get some of that where he's trying in his own broken way put up boundaries to keep her from falling, but it doesn't come across as loving or kind, and you get to kind of get beneath all of that to find out more about the story. I won't give away spoilers, but I just think if you guys like kissing books, if you like books that have characters that are very dynamic and fun to read, and you like the way a hero and heroine have great like banter and fun stuff happening, One Kiss Alone is definitely that. So I am removing the plane tickets now and have finished another book. I am not as fast a reader as you guys because I just am writing. And so I'm writing more than reading, I'm afraid, right now because there's so much to do. All right. I'm going to answer a few questions that you guys have posed, and then I'm going to talk about some of the books that I've gotten recently in the mail. So here we go, that I still have to read, that I haven't read yet, but I'd love to know if you guys have read them. Okay, so the question I'm answering today is, do you write every day? Well, the past 2 weeks, no, I have not. I've been to the conference. I didn't write one word the whole conference because I'm on the board of the conference and I'm a presenter and helping with StoryFest. So I was pretty much gone from my room from about 8 o'clock or earlier until about 11 at night. So it was pretty busy. But regularly speaking, I do try to write every day. I don't get it done every day, but I would say about 75% of the week, 75% of the time daily I'm writing. So that didn't come out right. Let's try that again. Probably 6 out of 7 days a week I am writing. That's probably a good way of saying it. Sometimes 5 out of 7, but most of the time 6 out of 7. I prefer 7 out of 7, but I'm not consistent with that. So there's that little bit of grace in there I try to give myself because I write for my day job, but it's report writing. And so there's a whole lot of writing going on in my life. And sometimes there's just a need for a brain break. And I'll do things like this morning, before I did my devotional time, I played the piano and did some worship music myself for a little while before reading devotionals. I'll get up and go for a walk. When I'm not at my day job, I will, my kids and I have started a new Minecraft world, so I'll play Minecraft with them for a little while. I'll read, so there's like various other things, but, I would say 6 out of 7 days, pretty consistently, I am writing. Especially right now, because I got a lot to do with writing. Let's see. What's the other question? How did you decide you wanted to be an author? That is a great question. I don't know that I decided, if that makes any sense. Becoming an author just kind of was. That sounds so ridiculous, but I can't remember a time where I wasn't trying to create stories. And even as a little girl, my mom would say I would tell stories and try to write them down and draw pictures of them. I think I told you guys once that I still have the handwritten story that I wrote when I was 10 and I illustrated very poorly. And at some point I'll have to pull that up and show you guys if you'd like to see it. I have it somewhere. I haven't pulled it out any time recently. So I'll try to pull it out so I can show you if you'd like to see and look at my ridiculous of illustrations with big noses and my very good penmanship, because I always got bad grades in penmanship, so I was determined to make it better. So I guess it just sort of was something that I started doing and never stopped doing. I had to take breaks, of course, real life breaks. I pursued publication for many years before ever getting it. I have loads of rejection letters. But I would say that as early as I can remember, I was telling stories or trying to write stories. So that's something that just sort of happened. I think you guys heard the story that my granny was the first one who ever called me a writer. And she called me a writer when she bought me this secondhand typewriter from a yard sale. And she told me that she got me one because a writer needs one. And that was the first time anyone had called me a writer, and that was when I was 10. And that kind of was this back in the back of my brain dream that had to bow to other kinds of things, like my getting a paying job as a speech pathologist. So going to college for that and working and having a young family, quite a good sized family. I mean, my first child was born while I was in grad school, and then I kept having kids pretty consistently after that for a while. So writing had to wait, and that was okay, because I am grateful that I've gotten to be an active part of my kids' lives when they were young, and I couldn't have done that if I was also, I don't think I could have been as active if I was working a job, writing for a second job, and trying to be an engaged mom. So I've been a very engaged mom. So if you guys want to ask any parenting questions, mom questions, I'll be happy to answer those too. And how, what's important, I think, as a mom. Last question for today. Why do you choose the types of stories you write? They cover so many different genres in the romance category. Yes, there's a lot of them. And sometimes it's not a choice. It's more of the story has to be written and I'm the one to do it. Kind of like that, I just became a storyteller. But sometimes, I mean, different stories happen for different reasons. One of my best examples is that, two examples. When I was writing for Barber, I had already kind of had the idea of Laurel's Dream before it was published. I had already written part of it. It was a family history story. It was just something that I loved. So it was a heart story. And then Barber was looking for books that were set in different places in the United States. And I thought, well, I already have this idea and it's already set in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so I'll see if they'll take it. And they did. So they took that one. Well, once I got in with Barber, who have been wonderful to me, I thought, well, how can I stay with them? Because they treat me well. I'm finally with a solid traditional house. I love working with them. And so they sent out another email to people who have written for them before and said, hey, we're going to be doing a true crime series. Does anybody have any story ideas for that? Well, I didn't have any story ideas for a true crime series because I don't write true crime. I don't want to write true crime, but it was an opportunity, and I had really been praying that the Lord would help me take opportunities as he presented them. So I thought, well, let me see if I can think of something. So I thought of The Red Ribbon, which takes place in the county where I grew up, in Carroll County, Virginia, and it's about the courthouse massacre. And so I wrote that one. And after that, Barbara sent out another email that said, we're looking for a split time series that takes place in national landmarks. And I'm like, okay, I've never written a split time. I don't know if I can write a split time. But I like to write historical and I like to write contemporary. So let's see if I have some idea. And that's where Hope Between the Pages became an idea, because I live really close to Biltmore. I feel like I live at Biltmore. I live really close to Biltmore and go there often because I just find such inspiration from visiting that very large estate here in Asheville, North Carolina. And so I started dreaming up this story idea, and it just became this like magical adventure of getting to pair these two lives together to create this story about the love of books and dreams and fairy tales, and giving it reality, but also leaving that touch of magic in there, that touch of gentle dreaming in there, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how those two books happened in particular. My first two book contracts, and the reason why I kind of started off in two different directions, was at the same conference, I received two requests. One was for a historical series, and the other was for a contemporary romance series. Both were romances, of course. And so my agent had recommended I sign both, and so I did, and that started my trajectory in both of those directions. And I enjoy writing anything if I can have romance in it. I have a few books that are way back here on the timeline that I would like to write, and they may involve fantasy and they may involve speculative stuff, but I'm not pursuing that just yet. That will be a while. So yeah, so that's how things kind of have gone, and I just followed the paths as they came before me and tried to pursue those when opportunities arose. So there's that. So there's the questions for today. Real quick, books that I have received this week that I'm looking forward to reading. This one is Christmas at Applemore. Applemore. These are not necessarily Christian. This one's general market, but I think it's supposed to be a clean read. It's for research because my next contemporary novel is set on the Isle of Mull in Scotland. And so I was doing a little bit of Scottish research. I got this one because my agent recommended it, and I thought it looked like it'd be fun. I don't know how clean it is because I haven't started it. But it's called Falling Hard for the Royal Guard, and it sounds really fun, kind of madcap. It sounds fun like that. I just received this. I am so excited. These are three lovely authors, Crystal Caudill, Cara Putman, and Angela Ruth Strong, and their Christmas novellas. It's called We Three Kings. So that one's coming out soon, and that's on my list. I am a big fan of Emma St. Clair, and so I have this one that arrived called Falling for Your Enemy. It came, I think, one of you guys recommended this one, and I pulled it up. Also, this one, again, I think one of you guys recommended, Romancing the Artist by Sally Britton. As some of you guys know, I'm going to be joining the fray of writing in Regency time period, but mine's going to be more rom-com. And so, but this one has so many positive reviews. I can't wait to read it. So those, I'll just stop there because I have quite a few others that I'm going to show off later. But those are my upcoming, maybe get to read those. What's a book you're reading right now that you're really enjoying? And also, what is a Christmas book you're looking forward to reading? A book that's set in the Christmas season that has that feel. I know Sarah Monson has one coming out. So does Toni Shiloh. I think hers may just, I don't know if today's release day. Sarah Monson has hers that's coming out. Very cute. I've read it actually, so I can check it off my list. But there's also Tony's book, and the cover's just delightful, as you guys heard me say in my last video. So there you go. I'd love to hear what Christmas books you're looking forward to. I don't have a Christmas book, but I do have a December release with the Juliet Code, and am in final edits of Loyally Luke, and right now I'm writing a Christmas novella. So Christmas is on the mind. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much. If you have questions, put them in the comments, and I'll talk to you later.